Welcome back to another groovy game review. It's the man of the hour Funk, and today we'll be going over Octopath Traveler. But before we jump in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for future groovy game reviews. But with that being said, let's start discussing the game. Octopath Traveler isn't your ordinary JRPG game. Octopath Traveler was developed by Square Enix, where you dive in a beautiful 3D landscape. In this game, you don't just have one main character to play, you have the choice of 8 different main characters with each having their own background and storyline. Each main character also have their own combat style which fits their background story. A very new and unique style of a game we do not see often in today's era of gaming. In this review, I will be discussing mostly on the experience playing the game, from picking my first main character and the progress you will go through as you play the game, followed by a few things I enjoyed, as well as a few things that were kind of alright. Let's start with the overall message of the game. Octopath Traveler is a JRPG adventure game with 2D character models in a 3D world. The graphics and art style of the game is absolutely stunning. There have been several times where I just want to explore all the map to see what the landscape has to offer. Unfortunately, you have to be a certain level to survive in set areas, which gives me an incentive to want to level just to explore more. At the start of the game, you have the choice of picking one of the 8 characters, a feature I believe is nice to have, especially if one character's background speaks to you more than the others. However, some of the characters' backgrounds did seem a bit dull, especially when going about and actually seeing what they went through. But don't take that away from the other characters that have an amazing backstory that will get you invested. As the game progresses, the fighting in game starts to get harder and harder. I highly advise finding a team of 4 before progressing in the second phase of the character storyline. Also, the game portrays that you can play all character storylines, in which this is true, but I wouldn't necessarily do that. With 8 characters to play from, trying to balance each character level just to progress in the story would take lots of dedication, in which would feel more grindy than ever. What I suggest is to pick 4, play the game out to the finish, start over, then choose the other 4 and finish their storyline. That way it doesn't feel as grindy while maintaining replay value. Speaking of grinding, there are parts in the game where you have to just fight for levels because the side quests offered in the game don't give you any experience. You are, however, rewarded with money, but that's about it, which is also something you will need since in-game items such as weapons and armor have a nice price tag on it. None of the side quests play any part of the storyline, so if you decide to skip them, it's not the end of the world. In-game, once you hit the second stage of the Chosen Party storyline, you basically have to grind on up. The gap between the two is pretty big, like a standard JRPG game, but I feel it's a bit annoying not because you have to sidetrack from the main story, but leveling to the next stage in the game can be a chore. There aren't that many level zones and it doesn't really follow a path. What I mean is you can go from a level 12 area to a level 35 area in the next scene with no progression to the level 20 area first. So basically, while trying to grind for levels, you also have to find the appropriate level zone as well. That's the charm I'm speaking of when having to grind. But once you get past the point and continue your storyline, you then get to progress further on in. As far as combat, it's your standard turn-based game. I do, however, enjoy the combat phase. With each fight, your opponents will have weaknesses towards weapons, magic, or a combination of both. Not only that, there's a thing called boost points you will gain every turn, which can boost up your attacks up to either 4 physical attacks or a high level spell. One thing to mention is the shield breaks that can occur towards the enemies if hit with the weaknesses enough times, causing a stun resulting in a loss of turn. A nice little tactical combat style for a personal experience I thoroughly enjoy. If played the game like mentioned earlier, there is definitely some replay value. However, if you choose to complete all 8 characters' storyline, there won't be much of a replay value. Even then, the game will offer more than 30 plus hours of gameplay, and for a price tag of $60 US, I believe you'll get your money's worth. With that being said, thank you for watching another best groovy game review of Octopath Traveler. Want to see a game reviewed? Leave a comment below, and once again, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to get notified for future best groovy game reviews. But with all that being said, I will catch y'all on the rebound.